Hello. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. Looks like everything is running as the way it's supposed to. Um, the summer solstice has come and gone, so now we're going to be slowly uh, losing light. Hello there, Andy. Thank you for coming in, and same thing with Valleys. Uh, so All right. So the hopefully tonight I'll actually get to the point of actually having the trestle uh, to a point where I can actually uh, so Valley's and so Chris and Andy actually met up today. Nice. Uh, yeah, it's one ugh. But one thing I was hoping to do today, which I did not get to, which I might get to later, is actually installing the AC. Uh, it's one of those things that they're expecting a heat wave tomorrow, so it's like, yeah, probably a good idea to nice uh, get the uh, install the AC. Uh, uh, Probably, well, hopefully before 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Hello there, Zataro. Thank you for coming in. Sad to hear that you're sick. Of course, I get a malware bites pop up and all that. So that's the annoying thing at times. It's like all of a sudden you get a pop up when it's like, no, not right now. Couldn't you wait until later? But hopefully, Zoe, you wind up feeling a lot better. And gets and pretty much get well soon. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. The hopefully the weather is now sort of like feeling as well as you do, because then you don't you if it's not that great outside, then who cares, it's sort of like doesn't matter if you're sick. But if you're sick and then it's a nice day out, it sort of even sucks even more. Yes, it's from my understanding, it's supposed to be. Wait a second. I can check the weather app. Heat advisories between 11 to Tuesday. It's supposed to be theoretically above 100 degrees, which is something that you don't usually hear in Vermont. Well, this is gonna sound very. I don't want to say arrogant. Not quite sure what word to use, but yeah, that's warm. 100 degrees. That's hotter than body temperature. Yeah, that's sick in the heat. Yeah. But being having that much I mean, that's why a lot of people, when they have heat stroke or something like that, the body's like going like, "Hey, we're running over hot here. We need to cool down somehow." And work actually has it set up now where trying to get it to, we already had like, uh, sorry, uh, she knows, um, basically what to do, for, you know, recognize heat exhaustion, it's like, and uh, things along those lines. It's one of those things of, you got to keep going, go, go, go. But at the same time, it's like going like, yeah, they want you to go, but then it's like, yeah, probably. Pretty warm in South Wales. Wind is whipping around Bristol Channel. All right. Well, I was gonna say that you know, I've heard the stereotype of it's always raining in England. So, but they have it set up at work where, why is my nose so itchy? Uh, where they can turn around and they got uh the coolers with the little button on the little spout on the bottom and all that. They it looks like they've had uh oh, it's Wales. All right, I knew it was somewhere in that country where rain is a thing constantly. Sort of like, if I remember correctly, in the states here, it's the state of Oregon and Washington. It's like constantly raining, and raining in Seattle, Washington. Uh, haven't been that far west, so I don't know. Uh, but yeah, from what I understand, they're planning on having coolers filled with Gatorade and ice, making sure that people are cooled off. Uh, Another is you've had 2 weeks in the 80s, so can't expect to get wet. Yeah, yeah, it's been pretty much very rainy uh these past couple of weeks here. Um, like, basically my plan was, since I'm so close to work, to walk to work, but it's yeah, sometimes it's like rain has a uh well, one, it depends on how hard it's raining, but if it's a soft rain, it seems to have a calming effect. But yeah, last week it was windy as can be. The trees are growing all over the place, uh, and the thing is, I park basically underneath the tree, and a couple of years ago, actually had a branch fall on my car. Car I don't know, car I no longer have, but it's like the new vehicle. It's like, don't really want. I was sort of, the other day I wound up looking at the car, and it's like there's a small twig on the car. It's like, I hope it didn't break anything. I mean, it was a really small twig. It probably didn't even scratch the paint, but it's a relatively new car, so. But yeah, so it's basically trying to get the air conditioning in before it gets too nuts. Some of my neighbors in the apartment complex, they never take out their air conditioner, because we all have wind. We don't have central air here. But we do have the the air uh, the the air conditioner go into windows. Um, and unfortunately, I'm in one of the two apartments where there's no good place to put an air conditioner. Like the windows that are behind the computer, uh, they're on the front, what's considered the front or the west part of the building, uh, and basically you have this. What is it now? I want to say it's almost like it's a bay window that's flat. I don't know what the term is, but normally when you have a bay window, it's like you have it pops out a little bit, and then you have like a very large, I want to say almost 3 foot wide window, and then there's side windows that are like maybe a foot and a half or something like that. So the main front window is too big for an air conditioner, and the ones on the side are too small for air conditioning. So that only the windows in the back are the only ones large enough. There's more of a standardized window, so it's one of those things that they go in there. But there's only 2 windows. One is in the bathroom, which is sort of pointless to put in there. And the second one is in the kitchen directly above the sink. So that requires a little bit of manhandling to get it into the window, but it can be done. It's just that it's very, very awkward. But it's the only place I could put an air conditioner in. And that's the way that has to go. So let's see now. Enough babbling. I guess I'll switch over to switch over here. All right, got the live chat on the phone, and let's switch cameras. Go to this one. All right. All right, now that we got everything bouncing around. These days are going to actually turn around and build a proper stand for the phone. It's not laying flat. That's probably going to be a project off camera. All right, so these are going to be here. So this is going to be on top. That. Let's see. Let's see what we do this. And make this about the same distance for this. That's one problem right now I have is that my diorama is taking up the whole workbench. Which I think it's actually taking more of the workbench because it's actually overflowing on it. The bus incident. It sure sounds like the Calvin Hobbes noodle incident. An incident that is never fully explained. It's reference, but it's never explained exactly what happened with the noodles. So we got that there, that there. So this, I'm gonna go there. Ooh, or are we going to go here? I think looking at the other trestle would go over here. So let's try this. Oh, I'm assuming it would be more accurately a few unrepeatable words, not necessarily unprintable. As you can print anything. It's just that okay, we'll do it that way. But yeah, I would have to say anything is printable. It's just that what rating does it get? Is it rated for family or is it rated for adults only? Okay. Okay, this. Okay, I guess the first thing we'll try. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, there was one time it reminds me of a thing with happened with my mother. There was a situation that it was after a little bit after my father had passed away, and my mother was in the process of thinking of getting back into the workforce, and I made the suggestion that she become a reporter. And she was sort of kind of confused about that. Yeah, I would have to say Zoe is being the grown-up here. But one thing that happened is she's trying to get back into the thinking about getting back into the workforce, and was trying to figure out what job she would want. And ooh, I forgot that important detail. There's a cross member there. I might not be able to go that direction. Let's see. Yeah, I will not be able to go that direction because the cross beam's in the way. So, and cross beams in the way in many locations, but not there. All right, guess we'll have to go that direction. That's the only way I can see going all the way through. Is that true also with this? Yes, so it's got to be a little on the inside. So, gonna have to change direction and go that direction. Actually, I'm starting to think that maybe Zoe's not necessarily the uh, uh, not quite sure she's being the quote adult or because she's sick, just going along with things and not really saying much. Okay, there's that. Yeah, basically, Zoe, what I'm doing is I'm building a small little trestle over here. And the bridge itself, which I have finished, is this what's called a covered truss bridge. Where as a covered bridge covers the entire bridge, the covered truss bridge only covers the trusses. It's sort of like in between a uncovered bridge and a covered bridge. It's a little bit cheaper to build, I guess, but it doesn't last as long as a full covered bridge. But yeah, it's going to wind up being right here, crossing over this canal, basically. Well, I wouldn't say works of art, especially not fine art. The other two bridges that I built, which was actually these are all Hunterline kits. The first one I did was a Queen Post bridge that was uncovered, and I did the Queen Post covered bridge. Then when I asked, how to do this style of bridge, Rick Hunter, who is one of the owners of Hunterline, suggested buying the covered full bridge and then just using the parts from that. And I did have to buy some extra parts. One I had to buy. I think these are. I want to say 3x10s, I think, because I only had enough for a single one, so I had to buy a second one to make it so I can do both of them, because with the covered bridge, there's no the bridge itself winds up being the outriggers, but the covered truss bridge obviously doesn't have the roof for the inboard riggers, so I had to buy another length for this. And also had I there is one of the variations of this is that they don't cover the outriggers. Had I not wanted to cover the outriggers, I could have probably turned around and not have to buy more sheathing, basically. But yeah, try to. I don't know. In some cases, I think search engines have gotten worse over the years, because it's like when it's very hard to actually find when you put covered truss bridge in there. Ooh. Yeah, that's oof. That's rough, Zoe. Yeah. when the electric goes out and all that, you can't really do anything to cool off. Especially when you're also not feeling well on top of it. Okay, now we'll slip that through. And we'll slip that through. Actually, we'll put glue on this first, because we know where that's going to end up. Yeah, right now I've been able to get away with just a fan, but with talking about temperatures over 100 and high humidity, it's like, yeah, it's time to get the air conditioner. There, there. Now this is going to be a slight challenge because there's no way to clamp this properly. Yeah, the subtle colors of usually a fresh painted bridge looks very uniform, but as the sun starts drying out stuff, that's when you start getting the different slight variations on stuff. Can I turn around and and of course, right now it's hot and humid, so it's going to take this glue to dry a little bit longer than normal. And again, because of the way things are, I can't really clamp it. All right, let's see something else here. Now that I'm looking for the paper clip, or not paper clips, but clothespins, can I find them? No. All right, looks like I have to do this one at a time. Or what? Looks like this is going to be the watch the glue dry episode. Well, hopefully hanging out with us model railroaders will make you feel less mentally crappy, which then will turn around and make you physically not crappy. And of course, I just happened to realize because I'm looking at the chat and not at the video that I'm not in frame. But yeah, the idea right now is to get these cross pieces glued in. And relatively straight. Let's see from there. Oh, hello there, Randall. Thank you for coming in. Welcome to the Huron Zoe chapter tonight. She is feeling under the weather. So we are cheering her on and hopefully make her a little bit happier. Maybe do something that makes her smile. Okay, let's try this side again. Can't remember which side is which. This does have a different size to it. Well, thank you for jumping in here after you're done doing work. Nuts. There's a lot of times that some of the very late night Discord or channels that I sometimes wander in right after I get out of work at 11. Let's see if I can do it this way. Only got one to stick. Let's find a way to get the other one to stick. There's no good way of clamping it down, so I guess I have to hold it by hand. Do that for a while. Yeah, Randall, that sort of sounds very similar to, what I work at. I don't know what I'm doing until I walk in and look at the schedule of what I'm doing. Yes, they're slowly beginning to turn into something. All right. Looks like I can let that go for a second. Put glue on the second one. And it looks like I spoke too soon because it came off again. And the one towards me, I can't see what I'm doing because it's not a see-through piece. Yeah, it's sort of almost in some cases I've heard at my current workplace. Sometimes it's basically, oh yeah, this is normal a two-person job, but we got to put you on here by yourself because we don't have enough people. And we're supposed to be getting new people coming in, and then there's other times it's like okay, we're all not quite twiddling our thumbs, but there's nothing really to do. Are they planning on letting people go? Oh, hello there, James. Looks like we got one half of the morning, the Monday crew on. Right now, James, we're waiting for glue to dry, and because of the situation, I can't really clamp them down because there's no direct angles. So once this is dry, I can actually stop using my hands as clamps. Ooh. Well, I had to say drink caffeine if you need to. I try not to be boring, but also at the same time on like situations like right now of watching glue dry, it's pretty much not necessarily. It's pretty much a snore fest. Gotta let it go. All right, looks like I can let it go for a bit. The center bent is not glued yet because I don't know exactly where that's going to wind up going. But let's see, can we pick this up? No, we cannot because we just lost one side. And we lost both on this side. All right. Looks like I gotta hold this on. Well, not much because it's sticky enough that it's staying. But it's not sticky enough to move. So, so James, how well is your lift out going? Now is that lift out completely lift out, or is it hinged where it's sort of like a door? It's permanent, but it can be swung out of the way. Because normally normally when it comes to lift outs, that's how they usually are. They're sort of usually lift outs are not completely lift outs. You know, they are hinged on one side or on a slider or something like that, where it's still part of everything. All right, only for a staging track. Gotcha. Right, right now my plan is once this dry is to add these to the top. Now we'll make it a little bit more solid. And after that, using probably smaller cross braces together as crosses and make it a lot more solid. Which I think are actually going to be these. Which, yeah, I think the cross bracing is only going to go on the top because this is the only one that goes low enough. I might add a cross brace on those also. But right now I have to sort of like wait for it to dry enough that I can handle it without it breaking. Or just looking at it, I probably could have done uh-oh. So there's a plot against Sparky. Yeah, sometimes like right now, you can't go forward until something else is done. Yeah, and I can't cut these to length because I don't know where that's going to wind up. So there's a lot of things right now that are waiting on other stuff. One thing I am sort of worried about, because I didn't turn around and pre-stained everything, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to wind up affecting other parts. And if it doesn't work correctly, you'll have to find a way to use weathering to get around it. Oh no. Well, it's a really good thing that you can still type. Well, not sure why they call it customs and all that, because it seems that a lot of stuff is not really customized. Anyway, I have to say, anyone actually watching just the video probably thinking there's not that much being done. I just happened to realize that my camera's not where the center of the camera's not where I think it is. So I'm thinking that this is the center where the camera is, and it's actually about maybe 3 or 4 inches off. Also, I would have to say this seems to be a wide angle lens, because the viewing spot, I would have to say right now, is I almost want to lean towards saying that it's almost like an equilateral triangle, because what you're seeing is about the same distance as how far the camera's above the table. Yeah, some hobbies are good for you, some hobbies are not. Yeah, that's I would have to say, Randall, that's one of the things that I sort of. It's one of those double-edged swords when it's doing the 18th century, because one, there's not that many products that are done in the 1800s, which means there's not that much there's not much there available. But at the same time, there's also, you're also not constantly buying stuff. Uh, I used to model the Delaware and Hudson, and basically the 6 foot gauge stuff I'm doing is based off of the Albany and Susquehanna, which was one of the predecessors of the Delaware and Hudson, uh, and I think the winning side of the Erie War. Uh, and I think the reason why they call it the Erie War is because the Erie River was bigger than the Albany and Susquehanna, and they wound up losing. Well, I would have to say that. Oh, excuse me. I would have to say that's reasonable, Zoe. You're trying to recover, and uh, it's probably a good thing that we can't see you, Zoe, because usually when people are sick, they don't. They do not look photogenic at all. All right, is this now good enough to? Yes, yay. All right, let's put this over here. Okay, so all right, so this actually has to go shorter. So let's see if we can peel that off after waiting for it to dry. See where this is. Snagged myself with the glue. Good thing it was off camera, you didn't see it. Okay, get that there. Okay, so we got that. Okay, we'll add the glue here. Add glue there. I'm seeing the chat roll by, but a little bit concentrating right now on this, so I'll get to it soon. All right, here we are. All right, looks like I got to scroll back a little bit, so let me do so. Mm. All right. Yeah, the use of the term of aircon sort of threw me off there for a second. It's like, oh, there's a uh, convention on air or something like that, and then it's like, oh, air conditioning. Uh, so just when I thought that it's not moving, it moves. Now, let's see if this is done correctly. This is done correctly. Then this would be over here. And the bridge would be on top of this. Goes to that. Look a little bit along those lines. And then once I get the whole structure, I guess, all together, then I can turn around and make it more fit the scenery, I guess. It is looking that time to wrap things up. So let me switch cameras. Grab the backdrop. Everything, camera shakes all over the place. Hopefully not making Zoe even more sick. All right. No, the other camera. Yes, this camera. All right. Workbench is trying to sneak behind everything. Yes, that is sort of what I'm aiming for as a final setup. It's ready tonight. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was PKNW. But just because I think it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So, well, I would have to say, slowly getting to that point where things are, you posted that. All right. Well, Andy, you have yourself a nice snooze, and thank you for coming. Same thing with everybody else. Thank you for coming. I would have to say, Zoe, please get better. It's usually not a good thing when we have people that are ill, because they're people who are ill are not as fun as people who are healthy. So get healthy or else. All right. I guess it's time to start wandering off here. So I think the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around. Bye, everyone.